Welcome to this Ask the Vet Facebook Live, hosted by Spay Neuter Network. I'm the vet, Dr. Boden. Make sure to like and subscribe to Spay Neuter Network's Facebook page. What this is all about is ask me any animal medical related questions that you have in the comments, and I'll be answering them as we are live today. So, happy early Mother's Day to all the mamas out there. As a reminder, your pet should not be celebrating this holiday. So get your pets spayed and neutered as love is in the air and puppies and kittens are hitting the ground and we don't need any more. So yeah. So the summer's coming and I'm wondering if anyone has any plans for the summer. Personally, I'm hoping to go to the beach. I rarely have had summer plans. I feel like I've always been so busy, but I'm working on changing that. And so with summer comes a lot of things we can see happen with our animals that I'd like to cover today. So again, just go ahead and pop any questions you have in the chat below. And they don't have to be summer related. They can be about anything related to your animals. So first with the summer, there's the issue of heat. So if you live in the South, and even if you don't, it can get hot. Veterinarians see a spike in heat-related illnesses during the summer, primarily heat stroke, which is really costly to treat, and it's really dangerous for our animals. Many animals don't make it through that. And so don't leave your animal outside for extended periods of time, and always make sure they have plenty of clean water and shade. So what animals are most at risk? Those ones with short noses, like the French bulldog, or actually any bulldog, just has that really short nose. It's just harder for them to breathe in the heat. And then animals that are already ill, or the very young or very old animals. And so if your animal is experiencing heat stroke, you might see heavy panting, difficulty breathing, lots of drooling or foaming at the mouth, a bright red tongue, unsteadiness, vomiting, diarrhea. All of those are signs that your animal might be experiencing heat stroke. So if you're seeing any of those signs, regardless of if they've been outside or not, I'd recommend going to the veterinarian right away. And so the second issue I've seen an increase in the summer is animals getting loose. I don't know if it's just like people are home more, and or maybe just like mowing, you leave the gate open, and Scruffy gets loose. So make sure your pet's microchip is up to date, so that if they do have a run in with the doggy law, they'll be able to get back home to you as quickly as possible. So if you don't know if your pet has a microchip or you're not sure what the number is, you can take them to most vet clinics and they'll be able to look it up for you. They usually scan between the shoulders to see if the microchip is there. You can have the number written down, and then you can go to a microchip lookup site to enter your pet's microchip number and see what company they're registered with. And so to look that up, you just Google microchip lookup and they'd be able to tell you what company it's with. And then you contact the company to update your pet's information to make sure they can get home to you if they do become lost. Because it's really scary to see our pets, get lost. And we see a lot of loose dogs this time of year too. So just make sure their microchip information's up to date. So speaking of microchips, Spay Neuter Network is having a microchip special at all of their locations. You can chip your pet for only $10 at Spay Neuter Network Clinic in May. That's in Fort Worth, Dallas, Crandall, San Antonio, all of them. So the special only applies to microchips given at the Spay Neuter clinics during wellness hours. So check their website to see what that is for your specific Spay Neuter network. And it can't be combined with other offers. So I'm going to come back over here and see if we have any questions. I don't see any questions so far, but if y'all have any veterinary related questions, please pop them in the comments. I'm happy to answer them for you. But I'm going to keep going through the summer issues. So third issue for summer is kitten season, and it's here, folks. Let's embrace it. If you see a litter of kittens, though, leave them where they are. Their mama likely went hunting to provide food for them, or she became nervous when she heard you approaching. So it's very unlikely the kittens are abandoned. If you're worried about abandonment, you can do this. It seems kind of weird, but you can do this trick where you sprinkle a light layer of flour in a circle around the kittens. And then you come back later, like 12 hours later, to see if there are any paw prints in the flour. And if there are, Mama is probably just scared of you, so you should leave the kittens there. Kittens do so much better when they are with their mom. So it looks like we got some questions. Um, Hi, Tammy and Tammy. Hey, we got two Tammys. It's the Tammy party. So Tammy, with a Y, says, I have a 6 pack of 2.5 week old black kittens. They're so sweet. I love the little 6 week old kittens. Um, or you said 2.5 week old, but they're still so sweet. When can mama be spayed and when do they stop nursing? So usually I see them start transitioning to solids around 4 weeks old. So you'll probably start seeing that soon if you're setting solids out for them. And mainly just like wet kitten food is really helpful. Between 4 and 6 weeks, though, I see them weaning off mom completely. And she'll start probably kicking them off around 6 to 8 weeks if they're still trying to nurse. So that's something to look forward to. As far as when to get her spayed, as soon as she's done nursing, I think it's great to get her spayed. So probably once the kittens are 6 to 8 weeks old. So you could even plan that out, have it scheduled now for a month or two from now. Yeah, and then you should see them stop nursing here pretty soon. Which is crazy how much faster animals go through the newborn period, right? So, yeah, thanks for that question, Tammy. Okay, so we have covered heat stroke. We've covered kitten season. We've covered our pets getting loose. The final issue I want to cover is the increased chance of ticks, which can lead to tick-borne diseases. So during the summer, we're out traveling more. A lot of people are hiking. They're getting outside more, which is great. Um, if they're bringing their animals, if you're bringing your animals with you, you're going to see an increase in ticks most likely. So make sure your pet is on a good flea and tick prevention over the summer. Lyme disease, Ehrlichia, Babesia, along with many other diseases, can be spread by ticks. So it's just really important that they're on a good flea and tick control, which those always go hand in hand. But not all flea controls do tick control. So just keep that in mind when you're looking for the right one for your pet. Um, and I was gonna say dogs in that one, but I used to know this cat that I would treat, that he he would go on motorcycle rides with his owner. And he rode in the back in a little cat carrier, and he was like the most relaxed cat I've ever seen. He's probably seen a lot on the road, so um so he gets out and about too. But okay, and then I have a question from Gris. Thank you for asking, Gris. Can we spay while a dog is in heat? You can actually. There are potentials for more complications, and usually the cost is a little bit higher at different types of clinics. I'm not sure about the exact costs with Spay Neuter Network, but you can spay your dog while she's in heat. You might see some residual bleeding afterwards, still, and just like she is now. And if you're waiting, I mean, you could wait a week or two to see if she finishes up with her period, and then go ahead and get her spayed if you'd like to. Um, but yeah, if you're ready to do it right now. So thank you for the question. If anybody else has any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat. We're here for a little bit longer, and so I'd love to hear any questions that y'all have and answer them for you. Oh, and Destiny is so helpful. She said Spainer Network is $75 and she booked an appointment for the 18th. So thank you for that information. Yeah, it's Spay Neuter Network does offer low cost spays and neuters. It's just really great to be able to spay and neuter all of your pets. And so hopefully I don't have family watching this because we have an uncle right now and an aunt who keep having kittens. And I'm like, guys, stop. Stop having kittens at your house. So yeah, so that's great information and it's good to know. that we can spay and neuter all of our pets and prevent pet overpopulation. Um, right now, we're just seeing so many animals entering the shelter, and there's a lot of illness going around. I know in San Antonio, they're seeing distemper outbreaks. In Dallas, we're seeing influenza outbreaks. And so, just among animals. And so, it's just really, um, really important to fix our pets. So, um, okay, I have a few more questions here. Uh, yeah. Oh, Tammy, I agree. Spay Neuter Network is a fantastic organization. And then Chris said, "This dog adopted us." Don't you love how they do that? They're like, "I'm here to stay. You gave me good food." So, um, when can I book her in San Antonio? She's a big dog. I would actually recommend calling them, or you could even send a message on this Facebook page, and they'll be able to get back to you about what that would look like to schedule her for San Antonio. And then Destiny says, would I consider my dog pregnant if she got tied on May 1st and I'm getting her spayed on the 18th? Also, is it riskier? It is potentially riskier, but she's so early in her pregnancy. Um, if she, I would say she probably is pregnant if she did tie. Um, but I think Spay Neuter Network determines that based on what they see in surgery. And so she's not very far along. So it just depends on what they see when they're in there, I believe. So, um, but things to watch for. Um, when she's going after her spay is just so she can also experience bleeding, vaginal bleeding. And then also sometimes the incision just has to be bigger. Sometimes it doesn't. And it sounds like she's pretty early along. So it's definitely something to talk to them about if you are concerned. But I am glad that you're getting her spayed so soon. And then Tammy says, can you go over the shots for dogs and cats and explain the difference between 5-in-1 and 7-in-1? Yes, so dogs and cats, we actually had a vaccine Facebook Live. I mean, it's probably been like 10 months now, but it's really helpful to know. So, all dogs and cats are required by law to get their rabies vaccine by 12 weeks of age. Sometimes it might go a little bit past that, and there's a little bit of wiggle room, but I just recommend that every pet be vaccinated. Not even recommend, it's the law for every pet to be vaccinated against rabies virus because it's a human health issue. And so the difference between dogs and cats is cats get a vaccine called FVRCP, and I mean, that's an acronym, and dogs get one called DHPP, and they each stand for like distemper, hepatitis, parainfluenza, and parvovirus. And then the FVRCP is, oh my gosh, I'm not even gonna remember, rhinotracheitis calicivirus. Um, there's a lot of things. So the 5-in-1 just has less of those antigens than a 7-in-1. And if you're getting it done at a vet clinic, they'll go over all of the vaccines that your pet is getting that day. And so those are the two main ones. There's DHPP in dogs, or DAPP2, you might see it referred to, and FVRCP in cats. Everybody gets rabies. And then there's other vaccines as well. There's like the feline leukemia virus vaccine, and there's Bordetella vaccine, which many dogs get every 6 months. There's the canine influenza vaccine. It doesn't protect against all strains of canine influenza, but it protects against the major ones. And so, just depending on your dog's lifestyle or your cat's lifestyle, if your cat's riding a motorcycle, you might need more vaccines than if your cat's just hanging out at home. But I would recommend talking to your veterinarian specifically about your animals and what they might need for their lifestyle. So, Destiny, oh, you're welcome. She said, thank you so much. She's 4 years old, and I'm hoping she'll heal quickly. And I hope so too. I think she will do well during the surgery. A lot of animals are just so amazing. You know, after I gave birth to my children, it took so long to recover. And dogs are like, hey, I'm good. Like, I'm ready to party again. right after they give birth or right after they get spayed or neutered. A lot of animals don't even act like they went through surgery. So I think she will heal quickly, Destiny. But thanks for asking your question. And then Tammy with an IE um, says, what if you don't know? Will it hurt them to get repeats? So actually, that happens all the time in the animal shelter. We don't know who's had vaccines and who hasn't. And so if a dog has come to you somehow and you just don't know where they're at, I would get them vaccinated just so you have a record of it. It doesn't hurt to get extras. The only way it could hurt is if they have vaccine reactions, which is hard to know. You don't know if they're going to have a vaccine reaction until they do. And so that's just something to watch for the first time you take them to get vaccinated. But I'm glad you're thinking that through. And then Destiny says again, the one for kennel cough too. I forgot what it's called. Yes, it's called Bordetella. Um, I don't take my dogs anywhere near other animals, but I always find it gives me peace of mind to give my pets any shots the vet recommends. Absolutely. So I feel like with Bordetella, even if your dog just goes in the backyard, like your backyard touches your fence touches other fences, probably other dogs probably come up to your fence. So I think just even if you're taking your dogs on a walk outside of your house, they can pick up diseases from other animals. And not in a scary way, like I don't want to scare anybody, but just so many animals get sick and we don't know where it came from, but it probably came from another animal roaming around and then getting your dog sick. So it's just really important. I agree, Destiny, to get your pets spayed and neutered. Spayed to get them vaccinated, but also spayed and neutered. So I lost my place in the comments, but I'm going to come back. Um, let's see. Adelie says, one question. Ooh, it's jumping around on me. Um, one question, my dog had parvo, but thank God he got better on his own. So can I have my dog vaccinated? Yes, get him vaccinated against parvovirus now that he's better. I'm so glad to hear he got better on his own because it's so hard for animals to go through parvovirus. So, yes, thank goodness. But yeah, go ahead and get him vaccinated, just to make sure, especially that he doesn't get the other diseases, since distemper's everywhere right now. Well, I say everywhere. I know it's a more of a problem in San Antonio currently, but it protects them against the other diseases as well. And then we have Hernandez who said, wanted to know if you have a training place for dogs. Um, so we don't at Spay Neuter Network, but you could consult with your veterinarian. I tend to like places with positive reinforcement, just to make sure, pets are learning how to do good behaviors. And so just looking for those keywords, something that's in line with what you want your pet to be trained as. Um, Destiny said about earlier, like, yes, my neighbor's big dog sometimes jumps into our yard at night too. So if other dogs are jumping into your yard, then yes, there's going to be diseases. So, and then Tammy said, awesome, thank you. So do you start at the first ones like they're a newborn or like a booster? So the first time I started, not like they're a newborn because newborns get vaccines at about 6 weeks old. But I start it and then I'll do a booster on it still. So you give a DHPP and then you give another one 4 weeks later. And your veterinarian may have a specific policy on that. Rabies is always just the one, once a year or every 3 years, depending on where you're at. Um, okay, and then Becky says, my cats are not using the cat litter. Oh, that's really rough. So you can try different types of cat litter. Some cats um, really like different types of litter. Like some like the clumping litter, some don't. I think I saw in a study that actually among cats, the most popular litter is the clumping one. But that can be concerning if you have a dog that likes to dig around in the litter box. So just keep that in mind. But there's also like newspaper litter. It's called Yesterday's News. There's shavings, like wood shavings, and it smells pretty nice, like a tree. So some cats really like that. So I would try different type of litter, but if it's a recent issue, I would recommend taking them to the vet to get checked out to see if they have any bladder issues, to see if they have anything else going on, because there could be a couple different things happening there. If it's not a recent issue, I do still recommend taking them to the vet to get their blood work checked out, get their urine checked out, make sure nothing else is going on in their body that's causing them to pee outside the litter box. So, yeah, so thanks for that question, Becky. And yeah, y'all are welcome. Um, Oh, and Tammy said she uses pellets. So, yeah, there's like newspaper pellets, and there's I feel like there's cedar pellets, and they smell really nice until the cat pees on them, of course. So, yeah, so thanks y'all for all your questions tonight. I love answering questions for y'all. And so thanks for tuning in. I want to let you guys know Spay Neuter Network has another Cuddly event coming up. So that's where they give out free pet food, vaccines, and there's a lot more. So follow along on their Facebook page to see when that event's coming up, get all the details. It's on June 3rd in Fort Worth this time. So again, check it out. Okay. Um, oh, y'all are welcome. Yeah, thank you for tuning in. So that's all for tonight. We'll be back next month for another Ask the Vet on June 7th at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. And so be there or be square. Thanks for tuning in. Night, y'all.